Sometimes I wonder what happened to the people who got eliminated last time, from the big competition, the one with the $100 million prize. I try not to think about it too much, because honestly it gives me the creeps. I remember seeing them get taken away after they lost a game. They just disappeared behind this big metal door, and we never saw them again. The host, a guy in a pillow mask, just said they were sent home. But the way he said it always felt a little weird. Like when your parents say your old dog went to live on a farm. You just know there's more to the story, and it's probably not good. I was sitting in my room, just staring at my computer screen. It was another boring Monday, and I was supposed to be doing my summer reading. But let's be real, who wants to read about some kid surviving in the wilderness when you could be watching cat videos? I was scrolling through the internet, clicking on anything that looked even remotely interesting. That's when I saw it. A flashy banner ad popped up at the top of the page. It had bright blinking lights and giant dollar signs. The text was huge. Battle for $100 million. Season 2. Are you ready to play again? My heart did this weird little jump in my chest. I should have closed the window. I really should have. Any normal person would have slammed their laptop shut and run for the hills. The memories of last season, the fear, the close calls, it was all coming back to me. But then I thought about the money. $100 million. I could buy a lifetime supply of video games. I could get a personal chef to make me cheeseburgers whenever I wanted. My finger hovered over the mouse. It was like the ad had some kind of magnetic pull. Before I could even talk myself out of it, I heard a click. The screen went black. A message appeared in glowing green letters. Welcome back, Player 1. My stomach dropped. I knew what was coming next. The world started to feel fuzzy, like I was looking at it through a wobbly pane of glass. My bedroom walls began to stretch and distort, and a strange humming sound filled my ears. It felt like being sucked through a giant vacuum cleaner hose. 1 second I was in my messy room, and the next, I was standing in a familiar, brightly colored warehouse. The air smelled like fresh paint and, for some reason, cotton candy. I was back. I had actually done it again. Standing in front of me was Pillowman, the host. He looked exactly the same, with his perfectly round, smiling pillow head and his sharp suit. He clapped his hands together and the sound echoed through the huge room. Welcome, players, to Season 2 of the Battle for $100 Million, he announced, his voice booming. I looked around and saw a bunch of other people, all looking just as confused and nervous as I felt. Some faces were new, but I recognized a few from last time, like Player 2, the big guy who always tried to act tough. Pillowman then said, "It's time to form our teams. Player 1, you will be on Team 1. Great. I was on the first team." Pillowman explained that the first game was about to begin. He led us all to a massive open field with a single line painted on the ground. At the far end of the field stood a giant, creepy-looking doll. My blood ran cold. I knew this game. It was red light, green light. Pillowman's voice came over a loudspeaker. "The rules are simple. When the doll sings green light, you run. When she stops and says red light, you freeze. If she catches you moving, you are eliminated." He didn't have to say what eliminated meant. We all knew. The doll's head slowly turned toward us, its painted-on eyes staring blankly. The music started, a creepy little tune that made the hairs on my arms stand up. Green light. We all started running, trying to cover as much ground as we could. The field felt a mile long. Red light. I froze instantly, 1 foot in the air. I held my breath, trying not to even blink. I could hear other people breathing hard around me. A loud zap sound echoed from somewhere to my right. I didn't dare turn my head to look. The game went on like this, a terrifying cycle of running and freezing. My team was good. We were all careful, moving together and stopping at the exact same second. We made it across the finish line, one by one. But Team 2 wasn't so lucky. Just as their last player was about to cross the line, he stumbled. The doll's head whipped around. Zap! He was out. Guards in red suits came and grabbed him, dragging him toward that same big metal door from last season. As the door slid open, I heard a strange noise from inside. It sounded like a bunch of gears grinding, followed by a faint, high-pitched scream. The door slammed shut, and a shiver went down my spine. That night, I lay in my bunk, staring at the ceiling. The sounds from behind the door played over and over in my head. I barely slept a wink. The next morning, we were all woken up by a loud bell. We shuffled into a big cafeteria for breakfast. They gave us trays with some eggs and a piece of toast. Everyone ate in silence. You could tell we were all thinking about the guy from Team 2 and wondering what really happened to him. After we finished eating, we were led back into the main warehouse. Pillowman was waiting for us on a stage, looking as cheerful as ever. "Good morning, contestants. I hope you all had a restful night," he said. I seriously doubted anyone did. "It's time for our second game." A curtain behind him dropped, revealing a table with a bunch of small, round tins on it. Suddenly, a loud, obnoxious voice yelled from the back of the crowd, "Hold up, Pillowman! This whole setup is whack!" It was Diddy, a new player who was wearing sunglasses indoors and way too much jewelry. He started complaining about the prize money and the rules. Pillowman just stared at him with that unblinking, stitched-on smile. "Player 12, your input is not required," Pillowman said in a calm, almost chilling voice. "This is a warning." Diddy didn't listen. He kept running his mouth until Pillowman snapped his fingers. Two guards appeared out of nowhere, grabbed Diddy by the arms, and dragged him away. "See? Now that's how you get eliminated without even playing," Pillowman chirped. Pillowman explained the second game. It was called the Dalgona Challenge. He said each of us would get a tin with a piece of honeycomb candy inside. We had to use a needle to perfectly carve out the shape stamped into the candy without it breaking. It sounded easy enough. My team got our tins. I opened mine and saw a simple circle shape. My teammate got a triangle. We all looked at each other, and then at the candy. It smelled really good, like burnt sugar. One of my teammates, a guy who looked like he hadn't eaten in a week, shrugged and took a big bite. "Hey, this is pretty tasty," he said. "That was a huge mistake." The rest of us, not really understanding the goal and being kind of hungry, followed his lead. We all just started eating the cookies. They were crunchy and sweet, and honestly, it was the best thing I'd eaten all day. It was only when we saw Team 2 carefully poking at their candies with needles that we realized our error. Pillowman's voice came over the speaker. "Team 1 has failed the Dalgona Challenge. You have all been eliminated from this game." A collective groan went through my team. We lost, because we ate the cookies. Now we had to face whatever came next, and I had a feeling it wasn't going to be dessert. A new set of rules appeared on the big screen. Since my team lost, we were now individual players again. We had to survive on our own, but we could form small alliances. Great. This was just like gym class all over again, where everyone picks teams and I'm the last one standing. I looked around at the other players from my failed team. Who could I trust? My eyes landed on player 2, the bully from last season. He was big, he was mean, but he was also a survivor. He caught me looking at him and just grunted. I walked over to him. "Hey," I said, "we should team up." He just stared at me for a second and then nodded. "Fine, but don't slow me down." We didn't have to wait long for the next elimination. Pillowman announced that there was one more player who hadn't completed the Dalgona Challenge in time. It was player 4, a quiet girl who had gotten the umbrella shape, the hardest one of all. We all watched as the timer on the screen hit 0. Her cookie crumbled into a dozen pieces. The guards came for her, and she didn't even put up a fight. They led her toward the big metal door. This time, I didn't hear any grinding gears. I just heard a faint splash, and then silence. It was somehow even scarier than the screaming. What was behind that door? My new partner, player 2, nudged me. "Stop staring, you look weak," he muttered. He was right. I needed to focus. Losing that game was a stupid mistake, but I was still in it. Now I was teamed up with a guy who probably wanted to use me as a human shield. But maybe, just maybe, working with him was my only shot at staying in the game long enough to figure out what was really going on here. I had to survive. I had to win. Not just for the money anymore, but to find out what happened to everyone who lost. As we were led to our new, smaller dorms for the night, Pillowman's voice echoed one last time. "Congratulations to our remaining players, get a good night's sleep. Tomorrow you'll need all your strength for a friendly game of tug of war." A chill ran down my spine. I had a very bad feeling about what we'd be tugging over. And as I glanced at the towering platform being built in the main hall, I knew that for someone, tomorrow would be their last day in the game. The battle was far from over. In fact, it felt like it was just getting started.